Well, Oklahoma loses a quarterback. Within 24 hours, they gain another as 2026 rivals 150, the number 102 overall player in the country, four-star quarterback out of Celina, Texas, Bowe Bentley commits to Oklahoma. And he's on campus right now. Shocker, shocker, shocker. Yes, I know. Wow.
How about that?
How about it?
Ben freaking Arbuckle, man.
Yeah.
How about tip your cap. Tip your cap. It takes some cojones to strut into a situation at Oklahoma where you already have a top 15 quarterback in the nation, solidly committed, not flinching, not going anywhere, and yet you decide, you know what, there's this other quarterback, a top 10 quarterback in the nation that I would love to go and get for my scheme, for my system. I'm going to lay it all on the line and try to make it happen. That's what Ben Arbuckle did. He took a gamble, and he hit the jackpot with Bowe Bentley.
Yeah, it was quite extraordinary to pull that off. This weekend, I think that's where you have to start, right? I get that they got the quarterback, but
the potential for momentum this weekend, holy smokes, did it just go through the roof? Because it's one thing if Bowe Bentley is on campus and then you find out Sunday or Monday that he committed to Oklahoma. That's when he goes public. He just went public on Friday night as official visits are just kicking off. He's going to be around these guys all weekend. He's going to be rubbing shoulders with them. He's going to be helping recruit on behalf of OU. And those guys are going to get to feel the momentum. No doubt they've already experienced it to a certain extent, just observing all of the social media hype and buzz surrounding Bentley's addition. But this could potentially set the table and be the catalyst for a very special Champ U barbecue weekend in Norman.
No, facts. I mean, the was talking to somebody last night, and it was when they, how do I want to word this? Obviously, you probably watched the other podcast if you're watching this that we dropped earlier today, and we talked about people telling us flat out that Bowe Bentley was probably going to be on campus. And, and we talked about on live as well, like the potential of something popping, potentially on a Friday or whatever. Just by happenstance that it happened. And, but they said that if that was to take place, that the momentum that they believe was going to transpire after that was going to be off the charts. And you got to think you got Brian Harris there, four-star defensive lineman out of Florida who's committed to Oklahoma. You've got several other players, the potential of Bo Jandro to drop, right? Like, you got Taj Overton that most people feel is going to drop. Like, this could turn into an epic weekend. And then you add the fact that Jake Krell is trending to Oklahoma at this time. Like, this thing could go off the rails in a good way, in a very good way.
And beyond that, if we're looking a little bit more in the long term, beyond this weekend, and kind of focusing in on what Bentley himself brings to the table, he's a guy that, our old colleagues at 24/7 Sports, if you go take a look at Bentley's profile on their site, his player comp is none other than John Mateer. And there are guys that have great statistics. There are guys that have great tape. Bentley is one of those rare guys that has excellent statistics and excellent tape.
Yeah,
sometimes guys are just volume dudes, stat patters, if you will. Guys that, while they may have impressive stats at the high school level, you can take one look at the tape and conclude, okay, this probably doesn't translate exceptionally well to the Power 4 game. Bentley does, man, and his game does. 63 touchdowns, 4,200 total yards as a junior at Celina High School, led the program to a state championship, undefeated season in his very first year as the starter. He's got such a polished all-around game. Exceptional at making plays on the run. Exceptional at creating when he gets out of the pocket. He's fast, man. He can really, really run. He's not
Yeah.
just a guy who has mobility. No, he can run, man. And
Yeah.
so this is somebody that long term has immense upside in Ben Arbuckle's offense at Oklahoma. And when you factor in the reality that he's a lifelong OU fan and this is kind of the culmination of a dream for him, man, there's just so much to appreciate and so much to get excited about with the addition of Bentley to the fold for Oklahoma.
And how about this? Like, the one thing that kind of held everything up to an extent was the fact that LSU didn't get a quarterback in 2025. As a matter of fact, their quarterback that they had committed is now supposedly balling out in the offseason at Michigan. And this is two cycles in a row that their 1A guy just doesn't happen for him. And last cycle was Michigan, this cycle Oklahoma. For Oklahoma to go in and take from a program that did not get a quarterback in the previous cycle, that if you're Bowe Bentley, you look at it from just a pure competition standpoint, there's not a lot ahead of him. Um, for Oklahoma to pull that off, Parker, that's impressive. Like, you got a guy last year, and I get it was Jet new. And
This is the first recruiting battle that Ben Arbuckle has had to fight and win. It wasn't a battle for Jet New. Oklahoma
well,
offered
John
him. He could.
Mateer, I
Oh
mean,
well, yes, okay, but I'm talking like high school recruiting.
yeah, yeah,
This is the first recruiting battle that Ben Arbuckle has had to go fight and win, and he did it, man. He beat Brian Kelly. He beat LSU. He beat all comers in the race for Bowe Bentley, and it
yeah.
really is remarkable to consider that this guy's 29 years old.
Mm.
He's not yet coached a game as Oklahoma's offensive coordinator. And this is his first pull on the recruiting trail. Talk about announcing your presence with authority.
Yeah, he's he's got a chance to be really, really special as an offensive coordinator at Oklahoma. I mean, his personality fits Oklahoma as far as like the recruiting aspect of it. So I think with his Texas connections, I mean, I'm going to say it, and fans aren't going to like to hear this, but he reminds me a whole heck of a lot like a young mule shoe whenever he first arrived at Oklahoma. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you.
Let me ask you this, Brandon, in retrospect, because this has always kind of been my feeling on it. Soon as those official visit dates flipped, it became Oklahoma's race to lose
Yeah.
because it was supposed to be Oklahoma and then
We said
LSU
that
getting the
too.
last shot. Then it became LSU and then Oklahoma. Felt like as soon as those visit dates flipped, it put Oklahoma in the catbird seat in the recruitment. And if you rewind to Bentley's official visit to Norman, June 6th through the 8th, massive credit to Ben Arbuckle and John Kucheski and everybody that was involved on the staff side of things at Oklahoma that weekend. But you also got to tip your cap to John Mateer because he
Yeah.
was integral in helping Oklahoma seal the deal for Bentley. I mean, that official visit weekend ultimately brought it home.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not convinced if those dates never get flipped in the first place that LSU doesn't ride that wave of momentum coming off the last visit to lock down Bentley's commitment. But the way that Oklahoma was able to position themselves to get the last visit and then just bring it home with darn near flawless execution
Yeah.
on Bentley's OV and heard from multiple accounts going in. If he doesn't commit here, it won't be because our guys didn't
Communication.
lay out one hell of an OV plan for him. And they planned it all down to a T. They executed it to perfection. And in the end, it took 2 weeks to pay off, but here we are. And Bentley's a Sooner.
Yeah. I look. I mean, at the end of the day, everybody. I don't want to say everybody. There was a lot of people nationally that felt like LSU had the upper hand. And look, from an outsider's perspective, it kind of looked that way just because, again, they don't have a lot that would be in front of Bowe Bentley if he was to commit to LSU. So naturally, you're going to look at that. You're going to look at the roster. You're going to look at the depth chart. You're going to look at the fact that it is LSU, what they've done at quarterback over the last 5 years, and say, well, he's probably going to end up there. And you're going to neglect the fact that Oklahoma has just as, if not better, history at quarterback. And the fact that you got a Texas guy recruiting a Texas guy. You've got a North Texas kid helping recruit another North Texas kid. There's a lot of intangibles there, like you pointed out, that really just worked in Oklahoma's favor in the end. And that's why we never really backtracked and said, well, we think it's Oklahoma, because it just felt that way the whole time. And the longer it drug out, the more it felt like it was Oklahoma. It really did. Like the longer he kept pushing that back, oh, I'll wait till Elite 11, whatever. And now when you look back at it though, like it makes sense. It almost feels like in his head, he was like, I'm returning on the 20th. And that's when I'm going to do it after I get back from Elite 11. And retrospect, we can look at that. Hindsight's 2020. But when you're watching it play out and he kept it so close to the vest that was hard to see. That plan was hard to see, regardless of where Oklahoma stood.
LSU's window closed as soon as he left campus without committing down at Baton Rouge.
Yep.
And
that's true.
Ben Arbuckle and John Mateer closed the deal. There you have it, folks. The biggest commitment of Oklahoma's 2026 class to date. Who knows what will transpire between now and December, but in so many ways, this really does feel like a pivotal moment in the 26 recruiting cycle for Oklahoma. The thing that could kickstart a wave of momentum for OU.
Is it weird that, and I don't know if has a rankings been updated, because when I looked, it seemed like Oklahoma was still out of the top 25, even with.
I don't know if they've been updated or not, but needless to say, with everything that's potentially on the table here for Oklahoma in the week and a half that follows the Champion Barbecue, they're going to shoot up those team rankings.
Oh yeah,
quickly.
Yeah. I think this is going to be it's going to be a fun weekend. Parker and I will have you guys covered. I promise you. We'll be driving up to Indianapolis for the Rivals 5-Star Challenge. We're going to get to talk to a lot of guys that will just be coming off their official visits, mind you.
Yep.
At Oklahoma. So we're going to have a lot of updates for you on OUInsider VIP. Make sure you're over there. $9.95 a month, $99.95 for the whole year. It's worth it. SEC Media Days coming up. Fall camp. A lot of summer workout information we're going to be dropping over the next few weeks. Like, this is the time to sign up. This is the time to do it right here, right now. And it's going to be fun. The avalanche is just building steam. And with Oklahoma only having 10 commits with 15 spots, give or take, still open, watch out. This is going to be a fun ride, folks. A very, very fun ride. So, for Parker Thune, my name is Brandon Drum. Bowe Bentley, now a Sooner. Big time for Ben Arbuckle. But that's going to do it for this emergency pod. As Bowe Bentley commits to Oklahoma, 4-star quarterback, kickstarts everything off in a big way this weekend. And we'll have more over on OUInsider and right here on this YouTube channel. So stay tuned.